So we are here on June 1st, and things are not going well here in Anaheim. As you can see, we are 24 and 31 so far here on the season. Not great. Not in a playoff spot right now. Take a look here, fourth, 6 games back, so it's still just a big group of teams here, obviously. But, still a long way to go, but definitely not where you want to be is that many games below 500. We also have a negative run differential. Not the worst run differential, but it's definitely negative. We would like to see that to be not that much better. And if we take a look, what am I doing? If we take a look at our info page here, go to the team stats, things under the hood don't look great either. We got off to a really bad start in April. We've been a bit better in July, 1 game over 500, but it's not looking great. The defense was looking much worse. That has been improved for a couple reasons we'll get into here in a second. But overall, I guess we're not giving up a ton of hits. We're limiting average, but we're giving up a lot of home runs. We're walking a lot of guys, and we're giving up too many runs. The starters have been not great. Just the arms just doesn't matter what we do at this point. It seems like the arms are always an issue. The bats have not been great either. The slug has been a serious issue. We just don't get enough hits, especially extra base hits, to really do anything. We're walking a ton. We don't strike out. We steal a bunch of bags, but we don't get value out of that base running, and we don't get extra base hits to score in runs. 8th in runs scored, 9th in runs allowed. It's simply just got to be better than that. It just has to be. If we take a look at the lineups right now, sort by WRC plus here. Nolan Shanuel has been absolutely on fire here. 155 WRC plus, 11 doubles, 10 home runs. He's doing his thing as he does, even playing a not good but not awful first base as well. Juan Soto, our new bat, he's been doing his thing in that DH spot. He's not putting up quite last season Juan Soto numbers, but he's still doing things. He's still a very productive player here for us in that DH spot in the leadoff hole with the 405 OBP, walking way more than he's striking out. We'll take that, absolutely. Yeah, Soto, Shanuel have not been the problem here. Ohapi hasn't quite been like MVP type level, but he's been fine. He's been fine in the starting catcher role here. And then Bob Moore here, Dayton Moore's kid. He's been actually a solid bench player for us. You can see here, 79 plate appearances, 129 WRC plus. We will take that. Bo Naylor even. We've even gotten some production out of the backup catcher position this season. Bo Naylor with a positive one or above league average WRC plus, doing things in that backup catcher role, even playing a little backup first base, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He plays occasionally there in right field, I guess. But he is listed as like the backup first baseman along with somebody we just recently called up. But George Lombard, he's been like fine. He's been like a league average bat, 10 doubles, 4 home runs. He's been hitting 5th for us. Zach Neto's been fine. He got off to a pretty poor start along with the rest of the team, but here in May, he's starting to turn things around here, so we'd love to see that. Randy DeJesus, we just called up. David Calabrese got off to a hot start, but he's kind of cooled off. Kyron Paris has been like meh. We picked up Parker Meadows off of waivers in the beginning of May because they just had him on waivers, and I was like, well, that's a 75 range outfielder. I'm going to slap a claim on him. And you can see here he's actually been quite decent for us, even at the plate. So I'll take that from Parker Meadows. He's playing center field, putting up a good ZR. He's a better center fielder than Calabrese is. They're playing a pretty mixed bag there, him and Calabrese. They're like every 4th game Calabrese plays. And then against lefties, it's Calabrese, and every 4th game is Meadows. But yeah, Meadows has been solid. We also recently called up Mike Broyhill. He's only played 7 games, and he hasn't really done anything, but it's only 7 games. We're not going to judge him based on that. We called him up because he was down in AAA absolutely tearing the cover off the ball in Salt Lake. The 23-year-old we picked up from Seattle last season, along with George Lombard in the Ian Happ trade. And like I said, George Lombard has been fine for us, and Mike Broyhill now going to get his chance up here in the big leagues. And then Wensil Perez is a former Tigers player who I've had on my like keep an eye on short list. He's a super utility guy, can play all over the place, has really good speed, and he wasn't really doing anything at AAA, but he was just kind of like the most useful to me guy in AAA. Hasn't really played much here in the big leagues. Has been really awful when he does play. The hitting has been an issue. It's definitely been an issue. We've got guys down in AAA like Alan Serta. He's down in AAA now because he was just god-awful in the big leagues. An 8 WRC plus in 70 plate appearances the first 2 months of the season. We sent him down like... I guess we can't really see when we sent him down here, but it wasn't too long. It was like maybe like 2 weeks ago we sent him down. Wilyer Abreu, that's Alan Serta. Wilyer Abreu also got sent down because he was also terrible here in the big leagues. We need bats. We need guys getting chances. And Wilyer Abreu is just not performing, so he's not going to continue to play there. Xavier Edwards is back then in AAA now as well because he's another guy who wasn't really playing much and just also wasn't playing. It wasn't hitting when he was playing, so he's down in AAA again. One thing to keep an eye on, though, who might be up at some point this season is Josh Johnson here. He was our 4th-round pick out of the University of Buffalo in 2027. He was an A-ball last year, doing his thing. Low A-ball the year before that in 2027, doing his thing. Perfectly fine player. Put up a 30 double, 19 home run seasons in high A-ball last year. Then he was in Double A to start this season. As you can see, a 210 WRC plus in a 3.3 WAR through 48 games, 22 bombs, 13 doubles, a 1298 OPS. I mean, the guy is tearing the cover up. An 842 slug. What do you want me to say? So Josh Johnson here is in AAA. If he keeps doing this in AAA, I mean, we might even call him if he doesn't do that in AAA because we need bats. We're so desperate for bats right now, and this guy looks like he could be an interesting bat. So we might call him up at some point, but for now, he's going to be in Salt Lake for us. I would have possibly been interested in calling up Sadeed Matthews at this point, but he actually was hurt for the majority of the season. He just recently came back from elbow tendonitis that knocked him out for 6 weeks. So this is why he's only played 12 games. He hasn't done much developing, but he is definitely an option to come up at some point, maybe later in the season. And as far as the arms go, if we sort by innings pitched here, Zach Gallen's been doing his thing. Zach Gallen has not been the issue. He's been coming in here doing his thing. He's got 72 2/3, 1.7 WAR, 137 ERA plus, 81 FIP minus, 25 strikeout rate, 6.8 walk rate, not giving up a lot of home runs, throwing 100 pitches per game. He's doing his thing. We don't need to complain about Zach Gallen. It's just literally everyone else. Kodai Sengo's been not great here for the Angels through 11 starts. Got to see more from him. Brandon Woodruff has been like fine with the ERA, not great with the FIP. He's getting lucky because the BABIP is definitely holding his ERA to where it is right now. But, I mean, we'll take that at this point. Reed Detmers has not been great. He's been better than last year, but he's not been great. And then we also have, now in the 5th spot is Edward Cabrera, who we had in a minor league deal. Wasn't doing too great in the minor leagues, but he was a guy I picked up because if we take a look here, he spent quite a bit of time in Colorado being like a really good starter in his late 20s. And he's not that far removed from that. So I was like, and even like last year with Tampa Bay, he was like a serviceable player. So I gave him a minor league deal. He's got decent ratings. My scout thinks he could be a solid player, maybe more of a reliever than a starter. But we just need the guy to give us innings because Patrick Forbes was not giving us innings. And so far through 3 starts, he has not been great. If we take a look at his games here, 3 major league starts, he goes 5, gives up 4. He goes 4, gives up 3. He goes 4 2/3, only gives up 1. So maybe it's improving, but we'll see how that keeps going for Edward Cabrera. Hopefully it keeps trending in the right direction. But Patrick Forbes has been knocked to the bullpen here because he was just bad. He was just straight up bad in the rotation. If we take a look at his splits here, he hasn't been good in the bullpen either. 4 appearances in the bullpen, 6 2/3. He's been bad there. He was even worse. He was straight up unpitchable through 8 starts in the rotation. You can't be doing that. And then it's not even like we have a solid bullpen to back up these guys, because if we sort by ERA plus here, like Lopez has been really solid in his stopper role. We continue to expect him to be good, and he continues to be good. Andrew Healy has actually had a bounce back season. He's been solid in the bullpen. We picked up Jose Soriano again, and he has been solid in the bullpen for us. And then Ben Joyce. Ben Joyce has even been solid for us in a stopper role. So we have a couple good relievers between Lopez, Healy, Soriano, and Joyce, but the rest of the guys just haven't been great. Chase Lee, he's striking out a ton of guys, not walking a lot, but he's given up way too many home runs to be like a trusted reliever at all. Sean Burke, he is up. He has 30 innings. He's been not great. Not what you want. Hayden Birdsong wasn't a setup role. Now he's more in like a avoid high leverage role because he was just so bad. You can't be giving up that many home runs. It's just unacceptable. We also used to have Brian Mata in here, but he was so bad and he refused his assignment that we just straight up released him, and he is no longer a member of the organization. However, we do have an interesting arm done in AA right now, Eric Rose. He was our 16th round pick in 2027. If you remember from that draft, he was a player who we just kept taking guys, and he was just like the best available on the board just forever as like a 50 potential. And we just were in the 16th finally. We're just like, fine, we'll take him. And he just hasn't really done, he's been like fine, I guess. He had like a good year in 2027. 2028, he wasn't great. And then this year he bumps with the AA, and he's been fine, but his potentials are looking solid. He's got a lot of room for growth here to be a solid player. I mean, if he even bumps the stamina up at some point, he could possibly even be like a starter with this type of control if all this stuff develops. But for now, he could be an interesting bullpen arm if we need to call somebody up, which we might have to. He even expects to be playing in the major league, so we might call him up here soon. One thing I actually forgot to mention in the end of off season and previewing this year's team episode was that we traded for this guy from the Cubs, Kevin Hawks, former University of Iowa catcher, ground ball hitter. The bat is interesting because he's got the 80 avoid Ks, the 65 contact, the 50 gap power. Never going to hit for power, never going to walk a ton. But he's got this insane 70 block, 70 framing. So this offseason, I thought it would be him and Bo Naylor competing for that backup catcher spot. And I just figured that we would have Hawks start in AAA because he had never performed. He had never played above A ball. So I was like, hey, we'll put him in AAA. That's where the Cubs were going to have him. So we have him in AAA. He hasn't been great, but he's been 4.9 framing runs. Isn't amazing, but he's in AAA doing his thing. He's definitely somebody who we might see up in the big leagues at some point. Maybe not this season, but at some point in our future, because we needed to address that backup catcher spot. And right now, Bo Naylor has been doing a good job in that spot. And in order to pick this guy up, we just traded Nick Gonzalez to the Cubs, who is down in Iowa for them. I guess he was in Chicago, not doing well. They sent him back down to Iowa. He's a quad A guy. He is what he is at this point, so I was totally fine giving up Nick Gonzalez. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that why we have this interesting corner outfield situation is because Nelson Rada, on top of the guys not performing, Nelson Rada got hurt. Tore his meniscus. He is out for 4 months. So Nelson Rada, not great. Age 23, just not going to be playing with us the rest of the season. He wasn't off to the greatest start, but I still believe in his bat, and he just, unfortunately, is not going to be with us for the rest of the season. So we're going to have to do some patchwork here in the corner outfield spots to try to hopefully turn this season around. And it is June 1st. So that means it is time to do the first-year player draft here. We have the number 9 overall pick because we were bad last season. We also have a supplemental first round at some point. What is that? The draft order? Yeah, we have the first supplemental round pick here because that was for losing Logan Webb. And then we just don't have a third round pick because that was the compensation for signing Gallen. And I'm assuming we do have a 4th rounder. We do have a 5th rounder. Okay, so I guess we just don't have a 3rd rounder. All right, we're here at pick 9. You can see here the number 1 overall pick was Dan Gibney to the San Francisco Giants. 75 range shortstop. I mean, this guy's insane. ECU. I would hope they have made Omaha by this point in time in this universe, especially when they've got guys like this coming out of their system. High work ethic, intelligence. I mean, this guy is everything that I want in a player. Unfortunately, we did not get him. But the San Francisco Giants do. The Astros take this guy from high school. Interesting bat. Marlins take this guy. Not that I care too much about this. I just like to show who usually goes number 1 overall. As let's see who we are going to take here. Number 9 overall, our scout thinks we should take Chris Big Red Aquino, who does have an interesting profile. He is a high school guy, though. 80 grade power, though, is definitely intriguing. 9 million demand is going to wipe out a decent amount of our budget. But, yeah. Oh, I have this on pitchers. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Draft hitters. Let's go college players. Who are the best college guys here? He's a second baseman. This is the best college arm. High work ethic. He does seem like he could be really good. It's just, do we want to pass up on the potential of missing out on... Yeah, I would definitely prefer this Louisville guy over this Oregon State guy. Yeah. Probably prefer him over this guy, too. So if we take a college guy, it's going to be Amare Collar here, this college arm. But the question is, do we prefer him? I mean, there are a lot of 80 potential guys here. Now, they are high schoolers. And that is worth noting because we have not had success developing these high schoolers. But that 80 grade power is... Obviously, this guy's not a shortstop. He's like a third baseman, probably. Yeah. I mean, that power combined with everything else just seems like it's too good to... I mean, if he develops 80... The thing is that the gap power hasn't developed at all. The avoid Ks hasn't developed at all. Like, I could very well see a situation where we take this guy and then we go to like August and we get a development update and all of a sudden his avoid K is like 35 potential and his gap power is like 45 potential, and these just never develop. I don't think I want to take that chance. I just don't. I just really don't trust myself. Like, who do we, if we say recommend pitcher, he thinks we should take this high school pitcher from Canada, which I just don't want to do. You know what? Just screw. We're going to take him. We're going to take Aquino. Actually, so he wants 9 million. Okay, so our draft budget is 12 million. We had to lower our player development and our scouting a ton because no matter what I did, it was like, you're over budget, even though every time I look at it, it's like, I swear I'm stupid. Every time I look at this page, I swear it says that we're under budget by a lot. But then every time I go to this page during the off season, it'll be like, oh, you're over budget. And it's like, what do you mean I'm over budget? There's all these green numbers in here. We've got all these, this number is less than this number. I don't understand. But, you know, it would always say like, oh, it's going to be slashed in half, the development budget. I'm like, I don't want it to be slashed in half. So I would just keep lowering it until it gets to a point where it says it's not going to get slashed in half. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just stupid. But that is why this is only 14 million, because I usually like to have this at like 20, and I usually like to have this at like 15. But we were not able to do that this season, and I didn't want to lower my draft budget that much because we had like a top 10 pick this year. But yeah, if we take Aquino here 9th, 9 million for him, and let's just say that Collar's still there. I doubt he is in the supplemental round. Okay, he only wants 1.8, so we'll be able to afford him. But we are going to take Aquino. The 80 grade power potential is just too much to pass up for me. I mean, yeah, this guy is he's too good to pass up. Obviously, he's not a shortstop. He's like a third baseman. But the 80 grade power with the potential 60 grade gap, the 60 grade BABIP, the 50 grade avoid K. I mean, this guy looks like he could be like the best bat in the league type guy. And he's a switch hitter. Yeah. We're taking Aquino. We're just going to go straight up and meet his demand, move things on. And we still got 80 grade guy. We still got Collar here. And we still got some of the 80 grade high schoolers too. This guy's a cheaper high schooler, first baseman. I probably don't want to take another high school bat if I'm being totally honest. So I think we are just going to go with the college arm and see if we can get this guy to the big leagues rather quickly. Not like this season, but if this guy is on our big league staff at some point next year, I would love that because we need arms. We just do. We need arms. And this guy, I think, is going to be really solid, especially if this 60 control develops. Yeah, we're going to take him. Okay, so now he's saying that his demand is $3 million, which we're just going to do. And now we're here in round 2, and there are still some 80 grade potential guys here. So we have exactly 12 million offered, 12 million in current offers for drafted players, and that was the exact budget that we set. So that's not ideal. I don't exactly know how it's going to work from this point on. Like if I go and take this guy, I guess it says I can to meet his demand. So I don't really know what that would be, how that would work, because this is what I have my budget set up to. But it says here I have 47 in remaining budget room. So what does that mean? Because I've had it before where because what I used to do is I used to have the draft budget set to 0, so it would just only take out of the draft budget remaining. What does that mean now? Now, I know that this guy is an 80 grade potential according to my scout, 70 according to OSA. I don't know how this is going to work with the demands. I feel like since this guy's a first baseman, I don't really want to take him here, and he's a high schooler. Now, these other guys are high schoolers too, but I just like their skill sets better. Like this center fielder here with the 70 gap power, the 60 power, the 65 range. That's an interesting skill set to me. He's cheaper. Not that we really know what that means at this point. But, and then there's this guy. Probably not a shortstop, more of a second baseman, but he's interesting skill set too with all this 60s across the board. And then the 55 and BABIP, which, to be fair, hasn't developed. But I think I prefer this guy. Maybe I'm stupid for passing up the 80 grade potential, but I don't know. I feel like I don't want to take it. I mean, we are just going to take a different high schooler if we take this guy. My scout thinks we should take him. Yeah, we'll take him. I'll even offer him his demand. Why not? And now here in round 4, our scout thinks we should take Andy Stout, who is a high school arm. I don't care if this guy looks like he's going to be good. I'm not taking him. I'm not taking a high school arm. I can't do it. Who are the best college guys here? Okay, so the college guys are down to like 55. This guy I probably won't take now, but I mean, this guy's interesting. 65 range. Probably went a little bit higher as if he's a shortstop, but he's a two-way guy, but he's not really a two-way guy. I don't really put too much stock in that profile for pitching. Honestly, I feel like because this guy is going to go. This 45 guy with the 70 range. I feel like he'll still be there. We have a 5th round pick, right? Do we have a 5th round pick? We do. I feel like he's probably still going to be there 5th round. But do I want to just not take the chance? Because, like, obviously this guy, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I feel like I still like this guy more. Yeah, I guess McDonald has the better gap power. Yeah, he just has the way better gap power. He's got the better base running. But when it comes to fielding, I mean, you can't overstate how much better 70 range is. And these other 70 range guys are like fake 70 range guys where they're like not actually like playable. It's like, I guess this guy's playable, but like he's never going to be like anybody. Same with this guy. He's like a fake 70 range where it's like you have 70 range, but like you've got a total noodle arm, so what are you ever going to do with it? This guy's another one. So there are two... Or no, this guy only has 65 range, but he's a high. He's a high work ethic, high intelligence. So is Crewman here. He's also got leader. We are going to lean taking one of these like higher, like this Leva guy who I was looking at before. The 65 range high school center fielder who looks like he could be good, even though this obviously hasn't developed. Yeah, I think we're going to go with the center fielder here, Ramiro Leva. He's going to be our 4th round pick. We're going to go ahead and offer him his demand, move things on to round 5. And it looks like our guy's not here. Classic. All right, so the 70 range guy isn't there, but the 65 range guy with the high potential, or the high work ethic, high intelligence, all the blue here, is here. We're not going to miss out on this guy. We're going to take Barajas here. We're going to offer him his demand. We're going to move things on. Alrighty, so we have just finished the 2029 draft. I believe we left off like right here on Leva. But anyways, we take Aquino 1st round, 80 grade power, 80 grade potential, 3rd baseman. We can just, well, I mean, once he's in the system, we can just go ahead and make him a 3rd baseman. Then we took in a supplemental 1st rounder, Amare Collar, a starter out of Louisville, who I think is going to be in the big leagues, not this season, but possibly at some point next season. Bobby Camp, an 80 grade potential 1st baseman that my scout liked. Then we took Ramiro Leva, a high school outfielder with 70 gap power, 60 power, 60 avoid K, 55 BABIP potential, and 65 range, 70 speed. Interesting player. And then we took we definitely took this guy on recording. 65 range, a bunch of blue personality here. Interesting shortstop prospect to have around. And then we also took a catching prospect, a college guy out of Ole Miss, 6th round. Very interesting player here. He could be a potential like Logan O'Hoppe replacement someday down the line. Who knows? But we will have to see. We also took Chris Cooley, another college bat in the 7th round. Right-handed bat, 60 power, 80 grade arm, high work ethic, interesting player. John Harrington, a 60 grade range. Probably a 3rd baseman. He's a 3rd baseman with the big power, gap power, and BABIP. We like to see that. He's going to strike out a ton, but he's got the decent power, BABIP, and gap power to go along with it, and the fly ball hitter we love to see. Then we also took this college closer who could be on the fast track to the big leagues here. High work ethic, intelligence, adaptability out of Troy University down in the Sun Belt. Then we took a high school arm with the 50 potential here in round 10. Figured he was worth it. High work ethic. Then we took a high school catcher with 65 framing. Interesting player. Bunch of blue in the personality, including leader. Then we have a 65 range high school shortstop in around 12. Then we took 70 grade stuff high school guy. High work ethic, intelligence. Then we took this guy who has an interesting control and like 5-pitch mix here, potentially. Extreme fly ball we don't love, but the rest of the stuff here I do like. Obviously the movement's not the best with the extreme fly ball, but he's a 14th round pick. You know, maybe we can turn him into something, maybe we can't. Who knows? Then we also have another high stuff guy at a college, Arkansas State. Lupe Gaetan, another high stuff guy out of college, Drury University, wherever the hell I get, Springfield, Missouri. I've never heard of it, but you know, that is a college apparently. Josh Dawson, a JUCO reliever who was available. Then we just took like a guy with decent range who could play some outfield for us in the minor leagues. That 70 range guy could play some infield for us in the minor leagues. And another guy who could play some outfield for us in the minor leagues. So that was our class here in 2029. Hopefully we get some of these guys to the big leagues, because that is something we need to improve here in Anaheim.